Hi, I'm Bruce Cameron. I'm the vacancy pastor at Ebenezer Lutheran Church in St. Louis. And the first thing I have to talk about is pretty much what's sort of there in front of your face, which is that on Monday I had a fall. I ended up in the emergency room and in the hospital and overnight for tests as they checked other things that might be going on with my body. And they've changed medications and I have doctor's appointments coming up. But it really isn't anything I need to be dealing with right now. It's something that's evident and obvious for those of you who see the effects of what falling on your head can do to one's black eyes or stuff. But as the poem says, my face, I don't mind it because I'm behind it. It's the people in front that I jar. And the uh, the thing I want to get from that is that there are things that seem to be obvious to other people, that this is the most important thing for you in your life. And it isn't. It isn't anything that you have to be dealing with right now. It may be something in your past that you don't need to address today. It's still in somebody else's mind, but not in yours. And there is in the book of Revelation, there is a verse that I've come back to um, on a fairly regular basis. It's a verse that is probably not as important in its place or in the overall message, but it has an important message in the middle of it. In Revelation chapter 2, the Lord talking to the church at Pergamum says, whoever has ears, let them listen and hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. To the one who is victorious, I will give them to eat some of the hidden manna. I will also give that person, I will give them a white stone with a new name on it, known only to the one who receives it. And it's that aspect, actually, that aspect of heaven, that aspect of being a part of the vast number that no one can count of people who are relying on the Lord, who are covered by His goodness, who are shepherded by His love. And to each, there is a stone. There is a stone with a name on it known only to that person and to the Lord. And what that has always said to me is that there is a relationship that each one of us has with the Lord that is not exactly the same as anybody else's. We are not exactly the same as anyone else. You are unique. You are one of a kind, like everyone else. But you are unique in your own way. You see this in the Bible, in the book of Psalms, where you have Psalms that are exuberant and bubbly and filled with praise, and you have Psalms that are more intense and concerned with the depths of God's love. Different kinds of people reacting to what seems to be the same God, but reacting differently because God relates to each of us differently. What that means in a time of a COVID-19 lockdown is that each of us is responding to it in a different way. It may not even be the most important thing on your focus right now. It's something you deal with, but there's something else. There's a relationship. There are people you are concerned about. There are health problems. There are whatever it is for each one of us that is different for each one of us. When Paul, writing to the Galatians, talks to them about the message that they received, the, the love of God that they trust in. And he talks about when you came to know God, or rather, to be known by him. Today marks 40 days since Sunday, March 22nd, when I started doing these daily messages. It's been 40 days. The word quarantine comes from the word 40, of keeping people on a ship for 40 days to make sure they're not bringing a disease into the harbor. We have had 40 days of messages, and some of them have come back again and again to the message that the Lord is with you. The Lord goes through this with us. He takes any harm on himself. And we've gone through the time of Lent into Good Friday and into Easter, and the message of promises that the Lord is with you. And I think the message for this 40th day is that the Lord is with you specifically, personally, where you need him to be. He's there for all of us, but he's there for you and for me in a way that is just right for us. And it is that personal love, that commitment of God, not just to sign off on a document of love for us, but to live a life of love that is exactly what we need for today, for April 30th. And then a new blessing that will be right for tomorrow, for May 1st, for the next of our 40 days. And the 40 days may not even be the 40 days of a lockdown. It could be. That's not always in our hands to determine. But we are in the Lord's hands. And he will see us through the falls, the ups and downs, the things we need, and the things we need to be telling him. He is there with us and for us, and he has a name for us that only he knows, and one day only we will know with him. In his name, amen.